Welcome in to another edition of the On the Mic podcast. And as I just told her, we're going to knock another bucket list interview off the checklist here. She is the queen. She is the baddest woman in any room and well on her way to GOAT status. She's the PFL lightweight champion, and she's just coming for more in 2021 and beyond. And if I was Dana White, I wouldn't talk shit about her, but she is Kayla Harrison. Kayla, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for that badass intro.
Yeah, I try. That's about as good as it gets, though. I usually hope the questions keep up, but after the intro, it's all downhill from there. I am great, though. Obviously, a thrill and honor to be talking to you. First and foremost, just kind of talk me through, obviously 9-0 in your professional mixed martial arts record, but that transition and not only, and you know this better than a lot of people, not only did you have doubters and critics before you started coming into the sport, but now include the fact that you're a woman, now include the fact that they don't know, judo and include everything that everyone's ever said about you. How do you feel so far about where you are at this point in your career?
I mean, I feel pretty damn good. Yeah, I learned pretty quickly that MMA is an unforgiving sport, but also its fans are very unforgiving fans. And it's kind of a dog eat dog world out there on social media and in the media in general. But I don't know. One of the best pieces of advice that Rhonda ever gave me actually was to get a thick skin. If I was going to do MMA, I needed to have a thick skin. And I can only imagine what she had to go through. But I pretty quickly learned, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. And that's to fulfill my destiny and my purpose. And I'm good with that. I think people who talk shit and people who are negative all the time are just miserable people. And I'm not going to allow them to bring that negative energy into my bubble. Misery loves company, but you're not going to get my company.
Two things on that. One is you've talked about your destiny. And I think you kind of threw a lot of people off, not with that post-fight, speech, but I think you threw a lot of people off on social media because it wasn't that they wanted to ridicule you. I think people were like, holy shit, what a promo. This is one of the greatest things we've seen in a long time, especially on the women's side. So for me, ignoring all of that, what kind of, and obviously I know on a personal level and on a professional level, 2020 sucked for so many people. And I can only imagine how it was for you. But was it just a year of sitting around and waiting, or was it just knowing? Because one thing I truly admire about you, Kayla, is you just know how great you are and you're not afraid to show it in the cage and speak on it. Was that what it was, or was it getting out some frustration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a perfect storm. It was an instance of 2020 was really shitty for a lot of people, myself included. Being on the sidelines, being in the peak of your career and not getting to go out and showcase those skills, that is obviously very frustrating for someone like me who has spent their entire life competing. I think that they're just business-wise, there were a lot of decisions that were made and a lot of things that were happening. Look, I was stuck in a bubble for 17 days with 2 kids. Can you imagine how frustrated and insane you would be after that? But really, it's not me talking shit. It's not me trying to cut a promo or anything. I'm just stating my claim. I'm telling the world that I think I will go down as the greatest. I believe in myself. This is not hate or shade or anything other than me saying look, this is what it is. I'm going to tell you right now. Now watch, sit back and watch. I know I'm not there yet. I know that I have a long ways to go, but at this point in my career, 9 fights in, 3 solid years of training in, I believe I have what it takes.
Well, to your legacy, I think one of the biggest things I definitely wanted to ask you was, what is it that makes you so special? Obviously, the skill sets are there. The mindset is there. The past experience and accomplishments are there. But when you look inside yourself, Kayla, like, what is it that you see about yourself that separates you from so many other people? And you can say, I know I'm not there yet, but it's really hard to deny the fact that you're well on your way to be one of the greatest, not just combat sports women athletes of all time, but one of the greatest female athletes of all time in any sport.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think there are a couple things. Number one, I think I was just born different. I think that I have always had this inner desire to be the best, this inner like little thing that ticks inside of me that keeps me up at night, that, you know, doesn't allow me to hit the snooze button and watches what I put in my mouth. This little thing keeps me honest and keeps it real. And that thing is insatiable, you know, like I won a gold medal and I was like, no, another one. And I won the Olympics again. And I woke up that night in a panic, like, oh my God, what now? So there's just that thing that I can't describe and I can't explain. Either you have it or you don't. But there are a couple other things. I think number one is my mentality. You know, I know that I'm mentally tougher than anyone in any room that I walk into. Again, this room thing, but I really am. I truly believe that the things that I've gone through in my life, the things that I've had to overcome, the crap, the obstacles, the hurdles, they all prepared me and they all made me this, you know, unstoppable warrior in a sense. Like I know that there's nothing in MMA or that can break me mentally. Nothing can break me. Not a weight cut, not a person talking shit, not being down 4 rounds in a fight. Nothing can break me. Number two, I think that my best attribute as an athlete is I'm extremely coachable. I think that MMA is different in the sense that you're kind of your own boss. Like you have coaches, you have people who tell you what to do, but not really. Like no one yells at you if you don't show up to practice at ATT, you know? And I'm not used to that. Like I'm used to like, if you're not there, if practice is at 10 and you walk in at 10:01, like the door is locked. Like Big Jim was like, no, F you. Like, I'm not wasting my time on you. If you're not going to, why waste my time if you're not going to invest your time in yourself? So I'm extremely coachable. I believe in my coaches. I believe in what they're teaching me. If, you know, if they told me to throw a flying knee in the middle of a fight, I would think they were insane, but I would throw a flying knee, you know, like I believe in them. They believe in me. That trust has been built and I trust the process. And then the third thing is that I'm the hardest worker in the room. You know, there's nothing, I leave no stones unturned. I work harder than everybody. And that gives me the confidence to know that I'm going to go out there and dominate.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything you just said. And with that, we were kind of talking before the interview started about American Top Team and just how great like that foundation that they have at that gym there in South Florida is. When I say American Top Team to you, and what does that mean to you and all that you've already accomplished in your career?
I mean, I just think it's the best gym in the world. You know, I'm very careful with my choices. You know, it wasn't like I didn't live in Florida and just walk into ATT and was like, oh, this place will work. Like I went to a bunch of different gyms. I tried out, I was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Like I tried out all these different places. But when I came here, I knew that this was it. I knew that the coaching staff was second to none. I knew that the training partners, you know, you walk into our gym at any given day of the week and you will see like Kyoji Horiguchi sparring Mariano Moraes. Like you see like this like extremely high level of competition. And not only that, but the best women in the world too. Like the GOAT trains at American Top Team. She is the greatest. You can't argue that. It's facts. And I want to train with her. I want to be the best. I want to soak up that knowledge, you know? So to me, it was an easy choice. Like I was like, oh, no brainer. Duh. At least that part's easy. Like I know where I'm going to train. I know who I'm going to trust. I know what I'm going to do. And it's become my home, you know?
I can kind of echo what you just said about American Top Team though. One time or the few days I spent down there a couple of years ago, just for everyone who doesn't want to believe Kayla, Junior Dos Santos made me absolutely shit myself while I was getting some like refreshments to kind of get my body back. I just heard somebody yelling and I thought there was sparring going on.
Yeah.
And he was just running up and down the hallway, like just getting ready.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I mean, like, that's Junior for you. He will also
this is how we start our day here. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm not walking outside right now. But no, it is an incredible team down there. But two outside of Kayla Harrison questions I have for you, and obviously you being one of the faces of not just the PFL, but women's MMA and all that you do in combat sports. Obviously, Claressa Shields made a statement with her MMA debut. I'm curious, as someone who has also made the transition, not from boxing, from judo, but what did you think of Claressa's debut, and how do you think she's going to fare in the PFL?
I think that it went, I think that we all knew what her holes were going to be, right? Like we all knew what she was going to struggle with. I was surprised with the matchup initially, just because I know that Brittany has a grappling background. She was my first fight. I was surprised that they made her the main event, just because it's a lot of pressure for your very first. Listen, this is not boxing. This is completely different. You know, this is like a whole new world. But we all knew she was going to struggle with takedowns. She was going to struggle with, the grappling aspect of the sport. I think that she did a good job of staying composed. I think that she overcame a lot of early setbacks. I think that, you know, she was able to go out there and do what winners do, which is find a way to win. So I'm impressed with her. I'm proud of her. I think that the biggest struggle for her is going to be, you know, in order to be as successful as she wants to be in MMA, she's going to need to devote a lot of time to learning that side of the sport, you know, and she's not going to be able to devote the time that it needs if she continues to box and do MMA both at the same time. I think that she's only human. Like, I applaud her for this and for making the transition into MMA and the peak of her boxing career. I just think that it's going to be too hard to do both effectively. Like, she can still do MMA and she can still box. I just don't know if she'll be able to get to the level that she wants in MMA. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit. I think that I have a lot of respect for Claressa. I think that, you know, she embodies a lot, everything that I applaud in a human, you know, like she came from nothing. She worked her ass off. She literally willed her life into existence, you know, like, and I think that that's the most badass thing you can do in this world. So we'll see. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where she goes from here. But this is why I said I always felt like I was more of her mentor than her potential opponent, because it's a whole different world, man. I remember getting, like, it would be if I tried to do boxing right now, you know, like I wouldn't be able to do MMA and focus on boxing and hope to become the greatest boxer of all time. Like, it's not possible. Like, I don't have that skill set naturally developed yet. It takes years to develop that. So I would have to completely focus on that. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair to say. And I think a lot of people kind of are with you on that. Now, on a lesser liking note, in that speech that you dropped after your win this year, you mentioned YouTube idiots. And I just need to get your take on how much you truly, because I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm just echoing everything you say. I'm right there with you. How much do you hate, like, the inclusion of Jake and Logan Paul? Because I'll leave the other YouTubers alone, but those two specifically entering the world of combat sports.
I mean, I think they're just really good businessmen, you know, like, I think they're really, really smart businessmen. And I don't know, it's just like, this is what I mean. Like, this crazy, like, chaos circus show, like, bullshit. This is not what I signed up for. This is not, like, I signed up for a sport. I signed up for clear rules where you can do this, you take these steps and you become the greatest. Like, not these circus acts where it's like, oh, we're gonna have, I mean, no. I just, oh my God.
I'll move on and I'll ask you this. and I'm not going to bring up, your future and what you want and what's planned out and what everyone's talking about, you moving, elsewhere. I'll just ask this, Kayla Harrison, is it fair to say that all you want moving forward is to get what you asked for and to get what you deserve?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't need to
have you heard happy wife, happy life? Like I'm not married, but if you were married to me, like that's all you would have to do. Like just give me what I want and what I deserve.
Yeah.
The difference is I don't think I want more than I deserve. It's not like I'm like, oh, give me I think I want and what I deserve are completely equal and just.
Have you ever had conversations with Rhonda that were similar to kind of her coming up when you're dealing with this? Because I think now more than ever, and we'll talk about your opponent here very shortly, but when you have this upcoming fight and people don't know what's next after this 2021 season for you, it almost not similar, but kind of somewhat relates to when Rhonda got into the UFC and everything that Dana White said. And have you ever had a conversation with her about going about getting what you deserve?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I probably should. I think that Rhonda, listen, man, I just have nothing but respect for her. She was a pioneer of the sport. She literally made it possible for people like me to go out and ask for what I deserve. This wouldn't even be a conversation we'd be having if Rhonda wasn't so loud and so dominant, and so she was just this perfect storm of what women's MMA needed, so I have nothing but good, nothing but respect for her, and I haven't asked her about that.
Well, as someone who wants nothing but fighters to get everything that they deserve and wants nothing but for the best fighters in the world to be the best fighters, I appreciate the way you go about your career and how outspoken you are about all of that. And the last thing before I ask you about your opponent is, some people may find it weird that you're willing to talk about a training partner in Amanda Nunes that everyone considers to be the greatest of all time, and how open you are to fighting her. Now, I know that that's just Kayla Harrison, the person, the champion, the fighter, the Olympic gold medalist. That is everything that you've set out to be in your life. It's no dig at anyone. But why are you so willing to speak on that when we've talked about how crazy the MMA world and the fans can be and how unforgiving they can be?
Because it's real. I'm not going to be fake, and I think that Amanda and I have had good conversations about it. Nina and I have had good conversations about it. I made it very clear to them, I'm not talking shit. I'm not saying and they know, they're oh, of course, Kayla, who doesn't want to be the greatest? No shit, we get it. And that's of course, that's it, and we still have a good relationship. And I had, I said, this is not coming from a place of it's not about Amanda necessarily, you could insert anyone's name there, and that's what I'm chasing. She's just the greatest. And that's, that's the most, that's the greatest compliment I could ever give her. She's the greatest of all time. That's so awesome. I have nothing but love and respect for Amanda. And I mean, it's all good. I also come from a sport where I competed against the same girls over and over and over and over. Of course we became friendly. I was at a training camp in France, training with the French girl a month before the Olympics. And then I fought her in the finals of the Olympics. But while I was at the training camp, I'm having dinner with her at her house. It is what it is. It's not personal. It's just business. And if Amanda and I do ever fight, I think it's going to be super professional. I think it's going to be very awesome. I think that we have nothing but respect for each other. I think that hopefully we both make a shit ton of money from it. It's not going to be this, again, another circus show. I think it would just be awesome. But we're both in different organizations. We don't even fight in the same weight class. She's got her path. I've got mine. We're not close to that yet. So it's nothing but, I mean, I have nothing but love for Amanda.
And I will say this to add to that, it would also be one of the the biggest, if not the biggest of all time, women's MMA fight of all time. So I would definitely love to see it. And you guys wouldn't need to talk shit to each other, which would kind of be refreshing in this sport.
No, wouldn't it be so nice if it was just like an actual, like, beautiful display of mixed martial arts at the highest level with nothing but class and respect and like everything that you're taught in martial arts? It would be so cool.
Right. You mean the exact reason why you got into this sport as well? Like part of that?
Yeah.
Like
it'd be
everything
so
you
cool.
learned coming up? Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm absolutely with you on that. Kayla, I do want to ask you about your opponent, Cindy Dandois. I know PFL 6 right around the corner here for you. She's kind of responded to your comments a little bit, and I know you said you weren't as enthused, but it was more on a personal level, which again, just adds to another checkbox that I, have a lot of respect for you, because you look at your opponents as women and as human, not as just, a name, on a scorecard. So I appreciate that out of you. What are you feeling like now as the fight gets closer towards Cindy and this fight?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we both signed on the dotted line. This is, we have a job to do. Of course, I said she was the one person I didn't want to fight, just because I'm a human being. I feel like I have compassion towards other human beings. I know this is her last hurrah. I didn't want to be the nail in the coffin, and other personal things that she's been through and gone through and going through. I really just didn't want to fight her, but I don't really get what I want pretty much anymore at all. So I'm not surprised. And I think that, now it's time to just put on the blinders and do business. I have nothing but respect for her. I have nothing but love and good vibes for her, but I have a job to do, and I'm going to go out and do my job. And that's it,
And what does it mean for you to kind of end this 2021 PFL season for you, on top, and not only take care of Cindy, but do everything that you expect to do to end out this year?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta prove why I said what I said, right? Like, this isn't a tournament. I'm the queen. There is no like questioning it. Don't even dream about thinking someone else is better than me. Like, or I'll wake you up and slap you. Like, it's just like, I have a job to do, and that's to go out and dominate and be so good that people can't ignore me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ignoring you. And I think there's a lot of talk about the future of your career. And again, we've already talked about getting what you want. This is my last one here for you, Kayla. Thank you so much for all your time. It's been amazing. But when you look at your future, and no matter where it may be, what is it that, besides being the greatest of all time, that you want to achieve, accomplish, and just do in your mixed martial arts career?
I think one of the reasons I started MMA is because of the platform that it gives you, especially in the United States, especially in America. It's the fastest growing sport in the world, but it's huge here in the US, whereas judo is, not huge. And I think that, obviously, personally, selfishly, I want to be the greatest, but with that platform, I want to change the world. I want to be the good in the world that I want to see. I want to use my story to help change the landscape of the way our society is. And I want to do it. I want to be a good role model to girls and boys. And I want to, I don't know. I want to change the world. So, insert promo here. I'm trying to do that through my foundation, which is the Fearless Foundation. I wrote a book, which is called Fighting Back. You can get it on Amazon and other places. I'm not entirely sure. I hope everyone shops on Amazon. If you don't, you're crazy. And yeah, just taking those steps to, I mean, that's all we can do, right? Like, I have a personal desire to be the best in the world, but I have a personal desire to be the best possible version of myself every single day that I wake up, whether it's to, being the best mom I can be, whether it's being the best training partner I can be, whether it's being the best fighter I can be, whether it's being the best dishwasher I can be, whether it's being the best taxi driver I can be. Like, my goal every day is to wake up and to go to bed feeling at peace with myself, because I know that I did everything in my power to go one step higher, to take it one step further, to be a better human being in some way, shape, or form today. So that's it. That's all I got to say.
Well, two things, Kayla. One, well, three actually. Thank you so much for all your time. Two, I will get your book like immediately. I should have already had it, but I need to get it immediately as like a thank you for doing this interview. And then three, I mean, obviously I wish you all the best at PFL 6. I have no doubts about, everything that lies ahead for you, but I would love, I know there's no off season in this sport, but I would love for one day to, start this interview back up and kind of just talk to you, not just as Kayla Harrison, the fighter, but, I'm someone who has a lot of passion about fighters being human and wanting to spread their story outside of the cage. So I would love to talk to you about, your foundation and all that you do.
Absolutely.
When you don't have a big fight coming up, I will.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I'd love to talk your ear off about it.
I would absolutely love to hear it. And I think I can say this as a 29-year-old man. I think, you are an inspiration not only to me, but to younger girls, younger guys, everyone in between and everyone after us. So I know you have an amazing team down there. I will definitely be in touch with you after, everything kind of settles down for you. Best of luck. Thank you for doing this. I can't say it enough again.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.